Hello everyone and welcome to Crochet with Diane. In today's video I'll be showing you how to crochet this lovely infinity scarf. Here you can see I'm trying to show you all the beautiful and versatile ways that you can wear this garment, which you can see is quite a few. This crochet project is very easy to make, and for any crochet beginners out there, this is a great one for you. In the video I'll take you through each stitch step by step so you can easily follow along and make this scarf. Also, it's such a very easy pattern. After a couple of setup rows, it's just a one row repeat for the whole scarf. I've made this one in a neutral beige colour, which I feel can be worn with most outfits, but of course you can make it in any colour that you like. If you like this or any of my crochet content, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any videos that I will be releasing. So if you would like to learn how to crochet this beautiful infinity scarf, then keep on watching. So for this scarf, we're using an Aran or worsted weight yarn in the colour of your choice, and I'm using a 7.0mm crochet hook. You can use a 6.5 or even an 8, and this larger size crochet hook will give you those beautiful, thick, chunky, loose stitches. So to get started, make your slip knot. And we're going to be making our foundation chain in a multiple of 3 plus 1. And if you're following this pattern, make a chain of 27 plus 1. There we go. So go ahead, make your foundation chain of 27 plus 1. So to start row 1, we're going to place a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, put your hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then chain 1, and we're going to place another double crochet into that same stitch. So yarn over, hook into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to skip 2 chains. So be careful not to count this one you've just worked, but the next one is here. So 1, 2, and we're going to work into the 3rd, into the next one. And we're going to place another double crochet into there. So hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then chain 1 and put another double crochet in the same stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to repeat this all the way along our foundation chain. So skip 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do the same into the next stitch. So put a double crochet in there. Then chain 1, yarn over and put another double crochet into the same stitch. So if you have a little look at your work, you see we're putting in some little V stitches. I'll show you again. So we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and then work into the next. So yarn over, make your double crochet, then chain 1, and then make another double crochet in the same stitch. Okay, so continue all the way along until you're approaching the end of the row. So here we are approaching the end of row 1, and you'll see you have 3 stitches left, and you've got your row of little V stitches there. So what we're going to do at the end of the row, you've got 3 stitches. We're just going to put 1 double crochet into that very last stitch. So we're skipping the 2 chains and we're putting in a double crochet into the last stitch. So yarn over, put your hook through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is row 1 complete. So let's move on to row 2. So for row 2, start with chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, and turn your work. The first thing we're going to do is place 1 double crochet into this very first stitch here. So yarn over, and the very first stitch at the bottom of your chain 3, put your hook in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then what we're going to do is skip across this V-stitch from the row below entirely, and we're going to work into this space, show you, here. So we're going to skip these stitches here and work into this space here. And again, it's a double crochet, so yarn over, put your hook straight into the space, not into the stitch, but into the space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Then chain 1, and we're going to put another double crochet into that same space. So yarn over, hook into that space and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Then straight over to the next space. So skip this V-stitch completely, yarn over, put your hook into the next space, make a double crochet, chain one and another double crochet into the same space. And again, yarn over, find your next space. So you're skipping this V-stitch completely, hook in, make another double crochet, chain one and double crochet into the same space. We're going to repeat this all the way along the row, putting in your, excuse me, the little V-stitches in between. We're working in between the V-stitches from the row below. So yarn over, hook into that space, make your double crochet, chain one and double crochet into the same space. Okay, so repeat this all the way along and I'll meet you as we are approaching the end of row 2. So here we are approaching the end of row 2. And we've just put in our last V-stitch into this space here, and you've got your V-stitch from the row below and your turning chain here. What we're going to do to finish the row is place a double crochet into this turning chain space. So yarn over, just pop your hook into that space and make a double crochet. There we go. And there is row 2 finished. And let's move on to row 3. So for row 3, and every row from now on is exactly the same. So chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, turn your work, and double crochet into that very first stitch at the bottom of your chain 3. So yarn over, hook into that very first stitch and just make one double crochet stitch. And then skip this V-stitch here from the row below and find the space after it and make your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the same space. Okay, so the next stitch is we will skip this V-stitch entirely and work into the next space. You can call it the chain 2 space if you like. There's 2 chains there. So yarn over, excuse me, make a double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet in the same space. And again in the next space. Get some wool. So I'm skipping this V-stitch here, working into the chain 2 space here. You hook into the space, make your next V-stitch. Then skip this V-stitch here, hook into the next chain 2 space, make another V-stitch. All the way along. This row essentially is the same as row 2. So there, we've worked all the way along the row. And again, here we are at the end of the row is your chain 3 space. So yarn over, hook into the space and make a double crochet to finish the row. Okay, so what you can see we're creating, it is the V-stitch, but it's offset. A V-stitch are very often we place sort of the V's that go together, they link together. What we're doing here is we're making, it's called an offset V-stitch. So you've got a V-stitch here and then it's slightly offset. And it just gives a little slightly different pattern to a regular V-stitch pattern. So from now on, we're going to repeat row 3. So you start with chain 3, turn your work, just grab a little bit of wool, okay, so always start every row, every single row now with placing a double crochet into this very first stitch here. Every single row start exactly the same, just like this. Put in your double crochet and then you will immediately skip the very first V-stitch from the row below, so that will always be the same, and go to this chain 2 space and make your first V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same space. And then you skip this V-stitch from the row below and make your next V-stitch into this space here. And do repeat all the way along till you're approaching the end of the row, and I'll just show you one more time how we finish the row. So we're approaching the end of the row and you've got a V-stitch here, so we'll skip that one, put in our last V-stitch into this space, And then to finish the row, and this is for every single row, you place a double crochet into the turning chain space. So yarn over, put your hook straight into that space and make a double crochet. Okay, so repeat every single row the same as we've just done. And of course, you can rewind this video as many times as you need to, but once you get going, it's such a quick stitch, especially when you've got a large crochet hook and a Aran wool. You could make this scarf in 1 or 2 evenings very easily. So keep going, repeating this row, and keep going. So keep going until your scarf measures 60 inches long. It will depend on what hook size you used. If you used a 6.5mm crochet hook, you probably need to do more rows than if you used, say, a 7 or an 8. With an 8mm crochet hook, it is 96 rows. With a 7mm hook, it is 110 rows. So, but measure your scarf to the length you want it to be. You can do it any length you want. 60 inches is sort of snug around the neck, but not too snug. You can do it shorter as long as you like, but basically keep repeating the same row over and over again until you've reached the length that you want your scarf to be. So here is the scarf, and I've done mine at measuring 60 inches. So I'm just going to put a stitch marker in there because we're not going to finish off completely. And here is the scarf, nice and long. You can do your scarf as long or as short as you like, but what we need to do now is sew it together. And as it's an infinity scarf, what you need to do is lay it flat, lay the whole thing flat, like this, on your surface, so that it's flat. I hope you can see there that it's all flat. Then grab both ends and put them together like this. Now we need to twist one side. So grab the right hand side and twist it all the way around the other way. See if I can show you that again. So you've brought the two ends together, and we're literally going to turn this side completely round the other way, just like that. And that will create the twist that you need for the infinity scarf. So I've turned the scarf around to a workable position. Here it is. And the two ends are together in the correct way. So now I'm using a slip stitch. You can use whatever method you prefer to sew the two ends together. I take out my stitch marker, pop in my hook, and pop your hook through the corresponding corner, grab some yarn. Be careful that you're not grabbing your tail end, but your working yarn, and slip stitch through. And then quite simply, each stitch, put your hook through the front side, and the next stitch, which you'll find is your foundation chain, put it through the back stitch, grab your yarn and slip stitch through. And do this all the way across your scarf. Just be mindful of keeping the two edges straight. Now, if you find this helpful, you can actually put in a stitch marker into the corners, that last corner, which will keep the two edges straight together. So as you're slip stitching along here, they'll stay straight. So put your hook through the front panel stitch, find your next stitch on the back panel, put your hook through, yarn over, and slip stitch through all of those. And we'll do that all the way along your edge. So I've just put in my last slip stitch there, and you can see it's joined it nicely, and this will be the inside of the scarf, so you just flip it round so this seam is on the inside. And to finish off, just yarn over, pull up some wool, enough that you can sew in the ends, and snip off your wool there, and just pull that through, snug it down nice and tightly, and then you can turn this the other way, and you can see that it's you can't see the seam, so it's nice. The slip stitch is lovely for that. You can't particularly see the seam. So there we go. So I've arranged the scarf a little bit so you can see your beautiful infinity scarf with the twist all done. And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you next time.